Dr. Pusztai, the world's leading scientist in his field. He worked at the top nutritional research laboratory in the UK. He had been given $3 million by the UK government to figure out how to test for the safety of GMOs. His protocols were supposed to be implemented into the EU law until he discovered, quite to his surprise, that GMOs were very dangerous. The process itself caused massive damage to his rats, potentially precancerous cell growth, smaller brains, livers, and testicles, partial atrophy of the liver, damaged immune system in 10 days. He went public with his concern and was a hero for 2 days. And then the director, who had been boasting about the research, got the phone calls from the UK Prime Minister's office, and the next day he fired Dr. Pusztai. And they tried to destroy his reputation, and he was not allowed to respond or he'd be sued. But the gag order was lifted 7 months later, on February 16, 1999, and that stopped the biotech juggernaut. That protected us from the replacement of nature. Because the press in Europe, unlike the press here, reported the issue, and it was an explosion. Over 700 articles within a single month in the UK alone. Within 10 months, the tipping point of consumer rejection was achieved. Unilever, Nestle's, Burger King, McDonald's, Walmart, virtually every food company committed soon after to eliminate GMOs from their European brands. So the same companies that remove GMOs over there, when people heard about it, continue to sell GMOs over here and don't want us to know, and are paying millions of dollars to the group that's saying no on 37, no, we don't want labeling, because they don't want you to know they're using GMOs. But they saw a tipping point happen in Europe. They themselves had to get rid of GMOs there. They saw a tipping point in the United States against bovine growth hormone. You see, there's a lot of things different with the milk from treated cows. There's more pus, more antibiotics, more bovine growth hormone, but most especially more IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1. It's linked to cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer. It's a very high risk factor. In fact, I was told by a former Monsanto scientist that 3 of his colleagues did safety studies on the milk from treated cows. After they saw how much IGF-1 was in the milk, they refused to drink milk thereafter unless it was organic. One bought his own cow. We educated people about the health dangers of the milk from cows treated with bovine growth hormone, a hormone that's been banned in Europe, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and now Walmart's milk, and Starbucks, and Yoplait, and Dannon, and most American dairies. By educating consumers who have a choice, we saw a tipping point here as well. So the same companies who are watching the GMO action in the United States saw a tipping point against bovine growth hormone. How many Americans will it take to convince the food companies to get rid of all GMOs here? Remember, GMOs offer no consumer benefit. No one wakes up in the morning with a desire for their daily dose of Roundup or BT. They're not going to say low GMO, like low fat. If they see any drop in market share that they can attribute to anti-GMO sentiment catching on in the United States, that's like a food industry sell signal. Get rid of the GMOs, secure a non-GMO supply. And now we can all dance to that, to that music. So we have a situation where GMOs are very, very delicate, and they're vulnerable. And 53% of Americans say they would eliminate GMOs from their diet if they were labeled. 53%, most Americans.